What's up YouTube, Never Lucky Pulse here, today showing you my matches from the regionals. The first match I lost a die roll and my opponent started first with his artifact engine. He was scythe blocking me. I had no response against his scythe build. I had only Ash in hand and Ash was pretty much useless. I needed Imperm and I didn't have it in my starting hand, so he could go off. Yeah, it was a bit rough. As you can see, Anaconda into Phoenix Destroyer and popping his own scythe when I start my turn. Plus, sorry for the camera was turning always in my side. In the first match I had to fix the camera, it was a bit damaged, let's say so. So excuse me for the bad quality, but it's my first recording, right? I can make it better next time for sure. I opened with Long Yuan, summoning the token, but he had Phoenix Destroyer, as you can see, plus the scythe. And it was pretty much game. I played the Pot of Desires, got myself the Moi, but I have no follow-up. I can't summon from the extra deck, that's basically it. And I have no out against Scythe, so yeah, sucks for me. Game 1 was pretty much lost very fast, I couldn't do anything. So yeah, I just stalled a bit time, talked with my opponent, and yeah, was preparing myself for game 2, obviously, and hoping not to break. Was pretty much unfortunate against Artifact's first match, bit demoralizing, plus Eldritch, but happens, right? What can you do? Game 2, I decided to go first, obviously. He played Lancia, I played Ecclesia, got myself Moi and Moi with the token. He played Ghost Ogre on Moi, I lost Moi, but I could follow up with the Water Tenny with Shantara and could get my Grandmaster on board, plus Long Yuan Search into Baron de Fleur, so I had double negate on board, plus I had in hand a Ghost Ogre and one back row, I think it was Blackout or Infinite Impermanence, I don't know. He summoned his Griffin, but his Griffin is useless against my monsters, plus some random card which I didn't know, and it was also useless. He couldn't do anything against my negations. I also had Ghost Ogre, like I said. I played also Ghost Ogre now against his summon, yes. I played it, destroyed his Link monster, and he couldn't do anything to get his artifact Phoenix Destroyer combo. So it was pretty much game. He dumped the Magician's Soul in Grave, but it was useless with Illusion of Chaos. He couldn't do anything. So it was a pretty quick game as well. And game 3, obviously, he wanted to go first. I had Ash in hand plus Impermanence. Was super good starting hand for go second. He went off with his artifact engine. I played Ash on his artifact search, and yeah, he played the artifact to get his scythe, and he played also Anaconda now, and I obviously played my Infinite Impermanence against his Anaconda to prevent the Phoenix Destroyer summon. This is very important for me to interrupt his play. So I had a realistic chance to win the game, right? As you can see now, I will now activate Impermanence against his Anaconda play. He special summoned his Magician's Soul and used it for the Link summon for the Anaconda, and as you can see, the Impermanence stopped the Anaconda. And he had a scythe in the back row. I had in my starting hand Harpy's Feather Duster and some Pot of Desires, and he played Lancia in my draw phase. So as you can see, he dropped Lancia. It was super annoying. I couldn't use half of my cards. Played Ecclesia into Moi. He played the Ghost Ogre against Moi, destroyed my Moi, and I had no follow-up. So it was pretty much bad. I had to go into battle phase with my tennis and destroy his Anaconda. The last resort move, but yeah, it was not enough. I couldn't banish my tennis to get the level 4 on board to be able to play my synchros. So pretty much good starting hand for him as well. And yeah, unlucky for me. I had the negations against his Phoenix Destroyer, but no chance against all the hand traps which he used against me. A very close match. It could go either way. I just lost the die roll and therefore the match. I think if I would go first in my first game, I would win probably against his deck, because his deck can't play around many negates, and Swordsoul has a lot of negates. Therefore, yeah, pretty unlucky for me. And yeah, as you can see, he played a second Anaconda. I was very surprised, and the Phoenix Destroyer. and it was pretty much game. I mean, I couldn't do anything, I had no follow-up, plus the artifact lock again, and yeah, super annoying, right? What can you do? First match was a loss, obviously now, 1-2, very close, but a lot of fun. And of course, experience from me. It was my first regionals, and yeah, I had a lot of fun. It was very exciting for me. But sucks to play against Artifact in the first game. Yeah, I showed him my starting hand. And okay, my third match I played against Sky Striker Phoenix Destroyer. My second match I couldn't record because the quality of the video was very bad. The angle was not enjoyable at all, so yeah, sorry for that. I won the die roll, but my starting hand was very weak. I had only the tennies to summon into a Grandmaster, and he had, of course, the effect Whaler to negate Grandmaster, and I couldn't continue on with Baron de Fleur into, with Long Yuan into Baron de Fleur. So my end board was Grandmaster plus set Infinite Impermanence. In total 2 negates against Sky Striker is not enough, since they have 3 link monsters with effects you want to negate. Plus he had also the search card, which is limited to 1, getting his normal summon and playing his link monsters. I could negate the first 2 link monsters, as you can see now. He played the first link monster, activated the effect. I obviously activated first the Grandmaster effect, banishing 1 Tenny from my grave, or the monk. Yeah, negating his first effect. Then he went into the second link monster, and I had negated it as well with the Infinite Impermanence, and his third summon, obviously I couldn't negate it, he could get the effect off. And yeah, he had to pass turn, since he used all his resources in the first round, all link monsters. I drew into Pot of Desires, and he had, of course, Ash, like always, right? Again, 1 negate against my play. I can't follow up with nothing. I still have only Grandmaster on the field, plus normal summon the Shatana. Super bad into Monk. So yeah, it was very annoying. I was super pissed with my hand. And yeah, I couldn't do anything. It was very horrible. I could only attack. He could activate the effect. Activating the effect of his link monster, I could negate, obviously. But yeah, it was very bad, because he had the Ash. It was a win for him. Due to Ash, yeah. Ash saved his butt. Because with 2 draws, Swordsoul has a very high probability to draw some decent cards to go off. And yeah, he denied me the additional cards, and yeah, that was over for me. And he could go off. He played the search card, obviously, and went into the link summons. He also played the take control over my monster spell, and yeah, took my Grandmaster and used my Grandmaster for Anaconda to summon Phoenix Destroyer. So yeah, it was pretty much game for in this moment, since I couldn't do anything. And yeah, pretty unlucky in the first game. Even though I won the die roll, it was very disappointing. I still lost due to the hand traps. Obviously, Ash plus Whaler, plus my starting hand was mediocre. Only 1 summon, and if I get a negate, it's basically it. And yeah, you can see now the Anaconda into Phoenix Destroyer. And yeah, I had the scoop in my draw phase. So yeah, I had Lancia. I showed him the Lancia, which was useless, obviously, against Sky Striker. Game 2, I decided to start. I summoned the Taya, getting my token. He had no hand traps, so I could go off the Grandmaster into the Long Yuan, into Baron de Fleur. So it was quite decent. It was not the greatest start hand. I think I had again Lancia, or no, I sided it out. My starting hand was alright. It was not super strong, but I had some plays. I had Baron de Fleur, the Grandmaster, and I banished to summon Vishuda on the field to have some future bounces if I get a Tenny draw, or I'm not sure if I have 1 Tenny in hand, but I just wanted to summon the Vishuda to have some extra bodies on board plus follow-up plays. He played the Rota, I didn't negate it, and he had impermanence against my Baron de Fleur. So Baron was out of the game, unfortunately. I had one negate in total, the Grandmaster. So pretty unlucky. And yeah, as you know, if 2 negates are not enough against Sky Strikers, 1 negate won't do it as well, right? So he could go off with his Link Summons. I could negate only 1. And yeah, but he couldn't do that much. He could play the Anaconda into Phoenix Destroyer. Later on, he summoned the Ace with the Ace effect. If you summon a Link monster, a Link Sky Striker monster, you can special summon Ace. And yeah, he had 2 bodies on field to get to Anaconda. And Phoenix Destroyer destroyed my Baron de Fleur since Baron de Fleur was negated. So he had Phoenix Destroyer plus Anaconda on field. And yeah. But I had still a Grandmaster plus the bounce. So it was quite alright. I used the bounce against Phoenix Destroyer. And he obviously had to chain. Or did he chain? I don't know. No, he couldn't chain. I negated with a Grandmaster his Phoenix Destroyer. So Phoenix Destroyer was out of the game. And I played Dragite to have my additional negate against spells, and he scooped the game, and it was over. I couldn't record game 3. Okay, 6th match was against a Sky Striker, again Phoenix Destroyer. I won the die roll and started with Long Yuan. I dumped the Tenny to get the Baron de Fleur to prevent any negations for my normal summon. So if I summon Taya or Moyi, I can chain Baron de Fleur against his Whaler or Imperm. I played Grandmaster, searched my Monster Reborn to get Moyi back. And Moyi went into my Dragite Synchro. So in total I had 3 negates on board, plus 3 hand cards. Was very, very good. I was very confident with this board. But my opponent could still break it, quote unquote break it. He played his first continuous spell card from the Sky Strikers. I obviously destroyed it with one of my negates with Dragite. And yeah, he went to the grave. Next one he played, I'm not sure, what is he playing now? The add 1, showing 3 cards and adding 1. He took the negate card, obviously, as a 1-for-1 trade against Baron de Fleur. So yeah, Baron de Fleur was also negated or activated this effect, I'm not sure. And now he could play the super ugly card, Mystic Mine. Yes, and I was like, no, that cannot be happening. No way. He played Mystic Mine. I was so pissed, not gonna lie. It was a free win for me. I had 3 negates plus 3 hand cards. Having 1 draw was a safe game for me, and Mystic Mine killed me. Man, I was super annoyed. I couldn't do anything. And with 3 monsters on board, it's super hard. Your opponent can activate all his monster effects since he won't get 3 or more monsters on board, especially with Sky Strikers. So he could easily break my board slowly. And I could only watch and yeah, be mad about it. But yeah, other than that, no chance in this game. I knew the game was lost when he activated Mystic Mine. I was puking inside, puking so hard inside, you can't imagine. And yeah, you can see he took control of my Grandmaster and yeah, used all the other funny cards in his deck. My draw was, I'm not sure what my draw was, the Taya, okay, but he had the Imperm against Taya, so I couldn't get my second Grandmaster on board. And nothing in the grave to help me, so I had to go into battle phase. And yeah, that was it. And setting 1 card, I guess. It was Imperm, I'm not sure. Yes, it was Imperm, yes. I set the Imperm and passed turn, and he had the spell card to destroy 1 monster on the field, plus if he controls several amounts of spell cards in the grave, he can also destroy 1 back row. So I lost, oh, it was not the Imperm, it was the Forbidden Droplet. I lost the Droplet plus my Grandmaster and obviously the Taya against the Phoenix Destroyer now. So yeah, it was very rough. I had a super nice start and yeah, Mystic Mine killed me. I played the Vishuda to bounce, but he had Baron de Fleur to negate my bounce. And yeah, I had the normal summon Muyi, I guess. Let's find out. And what is the summon? I'm not sure. But yeah, it should be Muyi. I was thinking about it, but I had no follow-up after Muyi. Only Muyi plus the Dragon Circle. He activated the Phoenix Destroyer to kill Muyi. I chained the Dragon Circle to tribute Muyi, getting a Long Yuan in hand. So I had one token on the field plus Long Yuan. And a second token from the Long Yuan effect, obviously. But he had also one interruption against my Long Yuan. It was a Ghost Ogre. If I'm correct, yeah, the Ghost Ogre, yeah, killed me. So I had only 2 tokens and no outs. Game 2, I played Muyi, normal summon, he negated it. And I had to pass turn, so I bricked. I had only Ash against his Surge, and yeah, he could go off. Or let's say I could negate one of his effects, but the rest was easy game for him. Again, Phoenix Destroyer. I mean, every Sky Striker plays Phoenix Destroyer, not gonna lie, and they always summon him in every turn. It's amazing. Always Phoenix Destroyer, and it's super hard to play against Phoenix Destroyer if you brick, right? Even for Swordsoul. I had only Grandmaster. He traded with the Phoenix Destroyer, so I had no chance in this game. It was a bit disappointing for me. I had Tactics. Luckily, the first time I activated Tactics, it was quite handy. I think I drew 2 cards, if I'm correct, to get the Long Yuan and play the Baron de Fleur. But it was not enough. As you know, one negate against Sky Striker is rarely useful. And he also had the Phoenix Destroyer on board. So yeah, no chance. And I only have one negate with the Baron de Fleur, since it's once per, not duel, but you can only activate the Baron de Fleur effect once the card is face up on the field, so you can't activate a second time the effect. Unless you put him back to the extra deck and summon him again, that's the only way to get his effect back, or if you summon him from the grave, let's say. But it's not a once per turn negate effect, unluckily. But it would be super overpowered, right? He has 3 different effects, and every one once per turn would be super sick. Yeah, I summoned Grandmaster with my Monster Reborn card, but against Phoenix Destroyer it's super unfortunate, because Phoenix Destroyer reduces my attack points by 400, and my Grandmaster has 2,400 attack against his 2,500 attack, so yeah, that was pretty much game. Very unlucky, and I lost 0-2 against a Sky Striker. Okay, to the last match I played against Dragonlings. I won the die roll and could start. My starting hand was quite good, but I made a small mistake. I first summoned Muyi instead of Long Yuan, so he could negate my Muyi with Effect Whaler. I searched first for Muyi and summoned Muyi instead of Long Yuan. So yeah, mistake on my part. It was very late. After 10 hours Yu-Gi-Oh! It's super hard to be super focused. Therefore, one mistake from my end. So yeah, I searched for Iris the Swordsoul, since I had Blackout in my starting hand. And past turn, he played Blackout, Chaos Space. I had Ash to negate his Chaos Space. And against his normal summon, I did nothing, since he went into Striker Dragon, and I negated Striker Dragon with my Grandmaster. So very easy choice, obviously. He had still a lot of follow-up to do. I summoned the Iris Swordsoul, since there's one monster which is negated on the field. I can special summon her, and she has 3 different effects depending on what your opponent is doing. For example, if your opponent special summons a monster from his extra deck, you can destroy that special summoned monster. So very interesting effect. Or if your opponent special summons a monster from his deck or hand, you can draw 2 cards, or special summon 1 monster from your hand. So the card is quite handy, but there are very few Swordsoul players who use this card. So yeah, it's not super useful, but in some situations it's very very powerful. Like in this one, I used her effect to destroy his special summoned monster. But he still had one out, the Chaos Dragon, with the effect to destroy 2 cards on the field, since he banished light monsters and dark monsters to special summon him. I had Vishuda in hand, but his Heretic Seal bounced my Vishuda back to the hand, and yeah, he could summon one dragon monster. So I had to pass my turn, I had no out. And I think he went into Burrowload Dragon. Yes, he played the Burrowload Dragon. And I took a lot of damage, but it was not critical. I could still survive the turn. Let's see, summoned. It's a bit long. We had a discussion if the effect from the Chaos Dragon is mandatory, but no, you can choose. Obviously, the text says you can destroy up to 2 cards on the field. So you can also say, no, I don't want to use this effect, right? So yeah. Like I said, he summoned now the Burrowload Dragon. Yep. So he had 1 negate, but I had Vishuda in hand since he bounced my Vishuda back to the hand. So he had to negate with Burrowload my Vishuda, and my normal summon was live since he had no negations. I searched with Grandmaster, Long Yuan, and Long Yuan for the token, and that was pretty much game. I mean, he couldn't do anything. Baron de Fleur, yes, Baron de Fleur destroyed the Burrow Dragon and 3k damage. He set 1, passed turn, and Baron de Fleur again for damage. Plus I had a Lancia in hand, he couldn't banish any cards, and Lancia kills Dragonlings instantly, so it was good game. Game 2 he decided to go first. I'm not sure what my starting hand is, but I had Ash against Chaos Space, right, nice. And he had to set 1 and pass. It was Dimensional Barrier, so I couldn't Synchro Summon. I had normal summon Tire Beatdown, 1/8 attack damage, and he had a second Dimensional Barrier, so and I had a second Tire. I mean, super crazy. I attacked 3 times with Tire directly, and I couldn't do much. But I summoned the number 41, since I had 2 level 4 monsters. I never thought it would happen, but it happened. I had 2 level 4 monsters on the field, and I could summon the 41, who negates every monster effect when he's in the defense position. Plus I had 1 Ash, as you can see, against his search card. So yeah, it was a bit stalling time, plus the Droll and Lockbird, so super crazy hand trap hand. And yeah, it was also crazy from his side. He had double dimensional barrier against Synchros. Very crazy. He was low on life points. That was an issue for him, since he took 3 times Tire to the face, so it's more than half of his life points. I summoned the new Swordsoul level 10 Synchro, who burns also for life points with the Long Yuan effect, plus double his effect against monsters and spell cards or trap cards, so in total another 3600 life points to burn. He was very low. I think he had 1300 life points. He special summoned 1 monster. I banished the monster. He was down to 100 life points, and he had Chaos Space in his hand, and he wanted to activate Chaos Space. And I said to him, no bro, you can't do it, you will lose. So it was super funny. Double Tire into number 41 into I burn your life points down to 100, you can't play any spell or trap cards. Was super crazy, but in the end I won the game. And you now see the final score for my regionals.